my name's Elise. I'm an educator here at Stone Zoo, and today I'm going to be talking about our amazing white-cheeked gibbons and what you guys can do to help this critically endangered species. So today's Zoo to You is brought to you by the MIFA on behalf of the U Fund College Investing Plan, and you can learn more about this plan by following the link in the caption. All right, with that, let's get started. So today, like I said, we are looking at our white-cheeked gibbon family. We do have 4 in here altogether. There are 20 known species of gibbon in the world, but like I said, these are the white-cheeked gibbons. We have Iggy, the mother, who is the blonde one over in the corner over here. She is 22 years old. And then next to her, we have Kian, who is the father of the other 2 black ones in here. He is 21 years old. And then playing up in the corner are their children, their sons. The older son, Gian, is 8 years old. He's the one following his younger brother, True. The younger brother, True, who we can see here up closer to the father, is 5 years old. White-cheeked gibbons are all born a blondish color, even the males. Then, within a few weeks, both the males and the females change to black with white cheeks. However, when a female reaches maturity, around 5 to 7 years old, she will turn blonde again to signify to the other gibbons that she's ready to start a family. Here at the zoo, we try to maintain as many wild traits and behaviors as possible. We ensure that the animals have lots of options for both body and brain stimulation, which we call enrichment. This includes something that we call scatter feeding. This is when the keepers will hide the food throughout the habitat so that the animals have to forage for their food just like they would in the wild. In fact, I think you're seeing some of that right now. They're having a little sweet potato and kale this morning. They also have plenty of toys and ropes to play with, which keeps them very busy throughout the day. Not only do they play with their toys and their swings, but they do also love to play with each other. Gibbons are very, very social animals, and they rely on one another for happiness. Gibbons, just like humans, are part of the ape family. Although similar to monkeys, there is one very easy way to tell a monkey from an ape. Just look for a tail. Monkeys have tails, while apes do not, which is why when we watch our gibbon family, we see a lot of similarities to human families. For example, Gian and his younger brother, True, roughhouse just like human children. They play fight and wrestle and even get annoyed with one another. In fact, just the other day, they were chasing each other for a couple of minutes when Gian decided that he was over the game. He lured his brother up to the top of the tree just to push him off. True was perfectly fine, but he did run to Iggy for comfort. Gibbons have lots of traits and characteristics that are very familiar to us humans. For example, Iggy treats her children differently based on their ages. A great example of this is how True, the youngest son, is able to get away with taking food right from her hands, or even her mouth. If True's older brother Gian were to try this, he would likely be chased away for this behavior. I know that in my own family, my younger brother gets away with much more than I ever could, so that is just one perfect similarity that we can see. True to white-cheeked gibbon society, it's not Kian, the father, who's in charge of this family unit, but instead it's Iggy, the mother. Not only is she a caring mother to her children, but she is also a wonderful partner to Kian. Gibbons, just like other apes, spend lots of time grooming one another. They do this for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons is it bonds them to each other. Similar to people hugging or cuddling, apes groom each other for comfort and a sense of closeness. They also groom each other to keep their fur clean and healthy. They pull off and eat bugs and also use their long fingers as combs. Clearly, they do not have hairbrushes, but they still want to avoid knots and matting, so grooming is the perfect solution. Now let's get into their diet. Just like us, These apes are omnivores. This means that they eat both plants and meat. Here at the zoo, they love to eat sweet potatoes, lettuce, kale, blueberries, strawberries, and bananas. And on really hot days, they prefer their fruit to be frozen. In the wild, they would also be eating small mammals or even reptiles and birds. In fact, just the other day, Iggy was sitting on the ground on her bum when two birds flew down through the habitat. She shot her hand up above her head into the air and snatched the bird out of thin air. Luckily for the bird, she decided that she wasn't hungry, and after a few seconds, she did decide to let it go. So now that we've familiarized ourselves with the gibbon family, let me tell you how you can help. Although they are a legally protected species, these guys are critically endangered due to laws set to protect them not being enforced. They are dealing with both habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss is when an animal loses its home due to humans taking over and making the space unsafe for the animals. Habitat fragmentation is very similar. In this situation, the animals have a couple of small areas of habitat. However, once they have finished up using all the resources in that area, they will have to travel through man-made areas to get to their next location. They are in danger not only from people and cars, but even predators. Without trees to travel through, they have to move on the ground where they're vulnerable. They are also targeted as part of the illegal pet trade. Mothers and infants are often targeted by traffickers so that they can take the baby for themselves. Baby gibbons, like most babies, are adorable, which makes them want to be kept as pets for many people. There are lots of pictures and videos online of apes and monkeys being kept as pets, and many people like to share these cute videos to their own feed. Although it may seem that the animals in these videos are happy, they are often being mistreated off camera. So the best thing that you can do when you come across one of these videos is to remember not to share or promote it. Instead, try visiting an AZA-accredited zoo or watching a nature documentary. I personally highly recommend Chimp Empire on Netflix. It's fascinating to see our fellow apes live in their own communities and create their own homes. So with that, I would like to thank you all for joining us and open the conversation up to some questions.
We did have a question here. How long do gibbons stay with their families?
That's a great question. So they stay with their families until they reach the age of maturity, which for both boys and girls is somewhere between 7 to 10 years old. It just does depend on the individual when they leave the family.
And I do have another question here. What areas are they native to?
That's a great question. So these guys are native to Laos, Vietnam, and there are still a very small amount in southern China.
So along those lines, is this species of gibbon endangered?
Yes, they are critically endangered species of gibbon.
I think that's all the questions that we have for now.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you loved watching our gibbons. And with that, I would like to say thank you and enjoy the rest of your year.